how do you support your loved one well? What are practical tips to make sure that your family rallies in a way that you will look back on this season with fondness and with encouragement about what you did in supporting your loved one? Another tip that we have found to be so pivotal to families is the simple concept of a family meeting. Some people call it a family reunion, but whatever you call it is important to gather together intentionally during whatever period of time that you think works for your family. It could be every 6 months or every year, but just make sure it happens. Because there are often topics that just don't come up around the Thanksgiving Day dinner table that you might need to talk about during this phase of supporting your parents. I'll never forget one family that had us over about 8 o'clock at night, and all the siblings had come in from all over the country. We had a really collaborative conversation about what we were going to do to support the patriarch of that family. They were rallying together, they were having a meeting just to discuss it, and they'd be on the same page about it. So important. So these families meetings are significant. A couple things that we have found to make these work really well, 5 in fact, 5 keys that make this work well. Number 1 is to hire a facilitator. It may sound a little bit overkill, but hiring a facilitator, whether that's a financial planner in your life or a coach or somebody in ministry to come alongside, just raises the bar for everybody involved. It makes you do the meeting, it makes you prepared, and it makes you follow up afterwards often. And so thinking about the right facilitator for your family dynamics is so important. Secondly, defining the scope. So some families start to have these family meetings, and it's like everything under the sun needs to be covered in that one setting. And let me tell you, it doesn't, and you won't get people to come back if you do that. And so really being thoughtful about what is the scope. One family that we work with talks about ministry and business and then kind of emotional encouragement updates, and that's it for the family meeting. Another family we work with has lots of family businesses that they're still involved with, and so those are obviously take longer, and they have people from different parts of the company coming in. But whatever your ecosystem looks like, make sure you define the scope really thoughtfully. The third thing that we found key to making family meetings work is to create ownership, right? Nobody wants to come to a meeting and just not kind of know what they're doing or know who's in charge of it, right? Be clear about who's leading the meeting and what do people need to bring to that meeting to have an effective meeting. When I was in business school, that's one of the things they taught us, is that half of the success of any meeting is the preparation that goes into it. Potentially more than half of it is required to that preparation. So create ownerships based on what different people like to do. So hiring a facilitator, defining the scope, creating ownership. The fourth thing that we have found is really honoring time. We had one family that met, and they hadn't done this for a while, and the family meeting went the entire day. And I'll tell you, when that invite went out for the next season, it was really hard for that family to rally around coming back because it was such a long meeting. So you gotta honor the time when you do one of these family meetings. Enjoy getting together, but really be respectful of people's time. And then lastly, it's really important to have some fun, right? This could be big or small. We have families that take their families on trips around the country or out of the country to have their family meetings there, or to a favorite lake place, or we have some that simply set up like a volleyball court in their backyard and have a little bit of a game with the grandkids before the family meeting starts. So whatever that looks like for you, make sure you incorporate a little bit of family fun into your family meetings. So those are keys that we found. There are many keys, but just having the meeting is half the battle. Don't be discouraged by thinking it's not important or it's not worth your time, because I guarantee you some of the topics that you're going to be covering are going to be so life-giving and will help you reorient toward the other members of your family in a really healthy way through family meetings.